Good Friday afternoon. It is an absolutely gorgeous day at Bristol. Sunshine and 72 degrees for Camping World Truck Series practice. The world's fastest half mile, which will not quite be as fast as it normally is because we've got dirt on the track here at Bristol. And so glad to have you with us today. Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch, and it's Bristol and it's dirt. For the second time, we did this last year, and it was a big hit, big success. And any reason to expect anything different this time around?
No, we're going to expect more, Vince. These guys got a little bit more dirt experience under their belt. I'm eager, and I have so much anticipation about what we're going to see in this upcoming. I'm excited about it in this upcoming practice session. We're talking about practice, but I'm just like all the drivers and crew guys down in the garage area. They want to get on the track and see what this track's going to lend them. Just think about this. A lot of times, we're responsible to tell everybody what's going to happen. This weekend, we don't know, which is a beautiful thing. And you know what?
Do they know?
The competitors don't know yet either. And so that just makes this a lot of fun. And I talked to some fans here at this track for the first time at Bristol on the dirt. They feel the same way that we do, excited and ready to roll.
Yeah, there's a lot of the unknown, even for those drivers like this guy, Stuart Friesen, who makes a good portion of his living running dirt cars. But there's always that question about what to expect when you get on the dirt in a truck.
Yeah, and that's because of the weather. You know, that has a lot to do with the surface. You know, if it's asphalt or concrete, it just has to be dry and you can race on it. But when it's dirt, there's moisture in the dirt. Is there going to be more rain in the area? How will the trucks dry it out? How does NASCAR and the track react to whatever that track does during the practice here today?
You see Joey Logano's name, just one of a handful of drivers that are coming from the truck or from the Cup Series that want to get some laps in the truck before Sunday night's Cup race. And remember last year, boy, we had just incredible conditions after some really heavy rain. Remember, it was, well, pretty difficult to see at times. You couldn't see it all.
We couldn't race, Vince,
Yeah.
and everybody wanted to so bad, but the rainfall was record for this time of year here at Bristol, and the teams reacted, but there just wasn't anything. You can't fight Mother Nature, and especially with the force she came with. A much clearer and better picture here this week.
And the good news is the weather's been just absolutely perfect through the last couple of days, so we should have a great track for these two practice sessions today. Again, two truck practice sessions, a couple of Cup practice sessions, all today right here on FS1, so stay with us. Let's go downstairs. Josh Sims is manning the ground and keeping an eye on the truck's trackside.
And I was just walking through the garage a little while ago, and I think the best word to describe the feeling of the drivers just behind me or getting set for practice is excitement. They're excited about what they get to do this weekend racing on the dirt. It doesn't matter if they have years of experience racing on dirt or this is their first truck race on dirt. They're excited for these practices to kind of figure out how the track is going to change. So many of them talk about just the fact that it's going to change throughout the day, so they need these two practice sessions to figure out what line is the best to run. Can they run the top? Can they run the bottom? Where those passing lines are going to be? Will this track hold moisture? We've said unknown so many times throughout the season, but there truly are a number of unknowns that these drivers hope to figure out. A guy like Harrison Burton, who's now up in the Cup Series, back in the truck, looks forward to this opportunity to help him not only get ready for Sunday's race, but just to get more experience and learn and have some fun out there. I keep going back to that word, but fun and smiles on these faces of what I saw as I walked through the garage area before this practice session.
Well, and Josh, you know, the trucks have raced on dirt since 2013, but every dirt track is different, and every time you get on it, it's different. Even what we see in this first practice, the track's going to be different in the second practice. Then it's going to be different tomorrow for qualifying in the heat races, and it's going to be different for the race Saturday night.
And that's why these drivers are having so much fun. They know that if they are off a little bit in this practice, they're going to get some help from nature. The track's going to cool off. The racing at nighttime, dirt racing is meant for nighttime, and we're going to have a dirt race here at Bristol on a Saturday night. That's about as good as it gets. And we talked about the guys that are coming over to the trucks and giving it a roll. That 7 truck, one at Martinsville with William Byron. Chase Elliott is going to drive it. Josh talked about Harrison Burton, Austin Dillon. He's got a lot of dirt experience. One at Eldora did Dillon, and then a lot of talk about Buddy Kofold. Vince, you followed this young man's career, and Kofold's had a good run at it.
Yeah, Buddy comes from the same background as Kyle Larson. He's from Northern California, and speaking of dirt invaders, there's Chase Elliott, who's going to run the 7 truck this week after William Byron won in it most recently. But Buddy Kofoid, a USAC national champion in the midgets out of the Keith Coons USAC team, which Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson drove for. And in fact, I spoke with Larson about Kofoid this week, and Larson claims he discovered Buddy Kofoid when he was about 6 years old running a box stock in Northern California. And I said, you could tell already he was going to be good, and he said yes.
And he lights up when you say that too, doesn't
yes.
he? He really thinks a lot of Buddy.
You know, we talked about the kind of the Keith Kunz Motorsports, Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Rico Abreu. I mean, even going back to kind of really the day Rich Vogler drove for Keith Kunz. But Keith and Larson both told me they think Buddy Kofoid is every bit the driver that Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell are, and that is a major, major statement. Kofoid will be in that 51 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports today.
Isn't it fun that we get to see these guys first here in the Truck Series? They make their debuts in the big leagues of NASCAR. Kofoid with so much history and experience and wins in the midgets and open wheel racing. Now he's going to try his hand at the trucks.
Practice begins on the dirt at Bristol when we return. Practice underway for the Camping World Truck Series here on the dirt at Bristol. The first of two 50-minute practice sessions for the trucks.
Listen to him work the throttle. This is so fun to hear him just try to squeeze the gas down as Joey Logano goes for a ride. We're riding on his bumper, Vince.
Logano won the Cup race on the dirt last year. Yeah, he was in the booth with us, went out, won the race.
Well,
Kurt Busch is hoping the same holds true this year.
I wonder why Kurt was so adamant about being up here with us. I thought it was us, but maybe not, Vince.
I don't think so.
I'm liking what I'm seeing, though. The track's not a lot of mud and no dust so far. Be interesting to see as the trucks put some laps on it, what kind of lane they take. I know NASCAR worked with the track here, the track prep team with Bristol Motor Speedway to put some variable banking into the corners, hoping that the trucks would go up the hill somewhat. Hailie Deegan, second fastest here. Look how sideways she gets it on entry, Vince. You remember last year, Truex, a guy that hadn't run much dirt, he just sort of held his truck more straight. I'm interested to see if they really toss him into the corner, if that's the fast way around here or what we learn.
Well, I think with the condition of the dirt right now, you're going to see a lot of that back end out.
22.
Ben Rhodes, the only one under the 22nd mark so far, but we'll see, in all likelihood, others join him as you're watching Hailie Deegan come up on the 12 of Spencer Boyd.
She's going to back her down there, and there's Ben Rhodes. He's was fastest, and Hailie just eclipsed him, so she went down in the 1990s and is the fastest truck in this practice so far.
I saw Ben downstairs in the pit area before practice, and he was super excited about getting back on the dirt. Ran second here to Truex last year.
Well, wouldn't you be, Vince?
Yes.
Look, I mean, this is just so cool to watch, seeing these trucks hung out, watching who's able to get their arms around this half mile first.
A lot of different thought processes too, Mike, aren't there? I mean, you got guys that it is fun. You know, they really are looking forward to the fun. Others are thinking, boy, I hope this isn't a disaster. You know, a guy like Ty Majeski's never raced anything on dirt before. You know, I talked to Buddy Kofoid, who's going to run the 51 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. He'd never even been to Bristol before getting here yesterday. So there's a lot of different levels of expectations for this field here this weekend.
And, you know, I remember as a kid, Vince, coming here and watching my brother back in the early 80s dominate. And I just could not wait. I knew I'd get to race at Bristol one day, and I couldn't wait for that day. I can only imagine Buddy Kofoid and how he felt coming to town, getting to race dirt, which is how he's raised and brought up, and now being able to be out on the racetrack here at Bristol. That's got to be special.
Looking at Tate Fogelman, who's inside the top 10 currently in speed. Hey, speaking of your brother, DW is going to be back in the booth with Mike and Clint on Sunday, and in fact today for practice as well. So really saw Darrell down in the television compound earlier. It was great to see him. Looks great, and it'll be the Walter brothers working it again this weekend at Bristol.
One thing I'll tell you, if you want to see a happy man, a smiling face, walk up to my brother, because he is just so excited to be in the booth with Clint and Mike and be here for racing at Bristol. He like me, didn't grow up on dirt, but certainly loves and respects and appreciates the talents that these drivers have to be able to be fast on the dirt. And speaking of which, Stuart Friesen is the fastest man in Eastern Tennessee. Let's take a ride and listen to him work that throttle. Listen to that rear end hookup. Whoa.
19.6.
Really able to get the throttle down hard and keep it down. Listen to that. That makes you want to get out there and give it a run, doesn't it, Vince?
19.44.
Stewart's running right around 1940. Consistent lap times and the fastest of anybody.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we get company this time here.
Derek Kraus in the 19, fourth fastest so far. Of course, Kraus won the pole and ran top 5 at Knoxville last year.
There's Haley sideways. We talked about Majeski limited laps in the dirt.
In the 7.
Right there's a fast truck. Chase top 5 so far.
How about the job Bono Mannion's done with the 7 collection?
Had a chance
Chase
to go.
Elliott this week.
Had a chance to win a couple of races.
Yep.
Won one at at Martinsville. Was in a spot to win COTA. So that's got to be a great feeling coming here with Chase Elliott behind the wheel.
Alex Bowman, William Byron. Of course, Austin Hill drove it to Daytona. Haley Deegan.
Does she have an issue?
I think she does.
Yeah,
Looks like she's gotten into the wall there on the right rear.
The left front tire wheel is towed out.
Bring it here.
There you can see that means there's damage to the left or right front because that left front tire is not heading the right direction. She had a solid day at Martinsville. Finished in the top 20 with a damaged truck. This is not off to a great start.
Yeah, that was a nice bounce back for her at Martinsville because she did have that damage early in the race and was still able to salvage a top 20.
Now this momentum she brought here hit a bump.
Yeah, we'll see how significant that damage happens to be. Early on here in practice at Bristol. Back at Bristol, and get often asked, how do they put it together? What's all the... Well, this is how they put a little sawdust on the bottom.
Many different layers.
Yes. A lot of different types of dirt, that stockpile dirt that they've had since, well, the beginning of the decade of 2000.
Those
They
track
run
prep
the World
guys.
Outlaws on, and they store the dirt, keep the dirt from year to year.
Folks that prep the track are scientists. You know,
Yes.
they like to figure out how to mix the dirt and how thick the dirt needs to be. And then this year they threw a curveball in it and said, we want a little more banking up top. See if we can get these truckers to build a cushion, go up top and race. And so far, we've seen pretty much everybody dedicated to the bottom. But as we said in the top of this show, Vince, that's all going to change. You just wait a minute. You're going to see something different.
Joey Logano went around and has now come back into the pit area. There you see him. Brought the caution out momentarily.
Whoa.
Yep. And you'll have that, trying to find the limits. Better to find them now than tomorrow or Sunday.
Here. That's your fastest of the group of guys you gave me.
All right. I don't know if we want to burn the rears off of it and track the way it is right now. I want to tune ourselves out. We're going to keep trying to bring it up to go faster.
free it up to go faster.
There you have it.
And he doesn't want to burn his tires off. And, that's something else that's interesting, Vince. You need to know not only the overall lap times like we see down the left side of our screen, but also you need to know what's happening right now as the track changes. Stuart Friesen likes his truck a lot. You heard Joey Logano, I don't want to burn the back tires off. Let's listen to what Stuart had to say about his truck.
Pretty good, just a little bit tight in the center. Good, like I said, I'm at 4 on my brake bias. Went there after the first pack, 4 to the rear. A little bit left front down, loading up hard, but good. The platform feels good. It's not all balled up on our rear. Forward drive feels good. Pretty happy with that, honestly. Good job, guys.
Oh, that could be trouble for the competition, huh? He loves the way his truck feels. He only ran a few laps. He's the fastest on the track, so great start to the session for Friesen.
Yeah, they really didn't particularly care for the way their trucks handled, as you see Stewart's wife Jessica, and she's behind him on track. Jessica didn't make the race here last year and then ran at Knoxville, trying to get in the show here at Bristol this weekend, and she most recently ran a couple of weeks ago, late model. I was talking to her downstairs earlier today. Says she'll run maybe 20 races this year.
Saw Stewart and Jessica and son Parker last night. They were having a good time here in Bristol, and it's just really cool to see that family together and know that how much they adore being able to get out here and race on the dirt. It's something they grew up doing, and young Parker, his eyes get wide open when you talk about racing and the dirt race here at Bristol.
Well, and Michael, I know you're humble. You wouldn't say that they were at your Michael Waltrip Brewing where that great picture was taken. You posted on Twitter last night, but had a good meal there. Terrific. Encourage folks to stop by and visit, see you, and the food and beverages are very tasty.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun seeing all the racers come by the brewery and have a beverage and nice sandwich. That's been cool for me this week. Jessica's needing some speed. You said she didn't make it here a year ago, Vince, and so far 2064's 2030 something's her fast time, and that's about a second off of her husband. So she's just filling this truck out. She'll get up to speed.
2 practices to do it today. 35 minutes remaining. We're at Bristol for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series initial practice of the weekend. About 30 minutes remaining. First of 2 practices for the trucks. The Cup will get a couple of practices today as well. Let's go back downstairs to Josh.
Hey, Carson Hocevar, you told me before practice that you're going to run a couple laps and then get out of the truck. So what did you learn?
I don't know if I really learned a whole lot. I was more so just getting a confidence boost run. The track's wet, it's good, it's starting to dry off really fast. But we have kind of our Knoxville package, so we're just solidifying that the stuff's good and it does all the right things. And we'll save our tires because we wore it out last year and then over-adjusted because we were testing on worn-out tires. So we're gonna save them a little bit and really work on it when it gets really slick.
What's up with the goggles though?
Dude, I gotta look the part. Like I'm not much of a dirt racer, and I had these for the pit bike that I just got. My girlfriend got that for me, but I figured I'd bring it, look the part, and kind of just pretend to be a dirt guy. But I love dirt racing. Brian Clausen is we got his logo on the deck lid. We did his scheme last year, and luckily Premier Security has really stepped on board. So we couldn't do the full truck like for Brian, but I wanted to make sure any open space we did, we paid tribute.
I hope you got a good hat to match those goggles, by the way.
I didn't even hear you. It's so loud, but I think you said something about the hat, but we'll have some dirt theme for sure, but more than anything, it's going to be real dusty, so it's only going to be used once.
All right, well, good luck. Thanks for your time, Carson.
Always has a smile on his face, doesn't he? Great guy to check in with down on pit road.
It was a good look at Mike Marlar, veteran dirt track racer, ran top 5 at Eldora a couple of years ago in the truck, and he won Kyle Larson's late model challenge last night down here.
Big win. Kyle Larson said early he thought he had the car to beat, and Marlar did just that, went up there and beat him. That's at Volunteer Speedway. A lot of folks in attendance that are here today, this weekend as well, Vince.
Larson ran 4th last night to Marlar, by the way. Jimmy Owens was 2nd. Scott Bloomquist ran 3rd. Jonathan Davenport filled out the top 5. If you had an opportunity to check it out, good event. great to see the fans turn out and create a great atmosphere. Zane Smith is in the 38, Josh.
Yep, and the last time Zane Smith came in, he was saying he was pretty happy with the truck. He said it was a little tight, had pretty good drive off, but he wants more late entry rotation. He says he has to do too much just to get the truck pointed, so they made some adjustments. And before, that is, he went back out for another couple laps of practice.
Well, and Josh mentioned Zane and how he wanted to get the truck pointed, and different drivers, depending on their style, their comfort level on dirt, what makes them feel comfortable, as to how they want that truck to handle when it comes through the corners. And some are a little more comfortable with sliding. Obviously, you want as much grip as possible, not always accessible on the dirt, but it's just it's a comfort zone that it's different for just about every driver.
And you know, Vince, at the top of the show, we talked about the changes and how this track will evolve. You can see there, the track is getting some rubber laid down. And I got to be careful how I say this, because there's dirt racers all across the country that want to say, I don't know what Michael don't know what he's talking about. So I texted my friend Kyle Larson. I said, what the heck is as we got a truck around over off turn 2?
And that's the 45 of Lawless Allen. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I said, what the heck is the track doing? I want to hear it from you. And he said it's sealing up. It's getting shiny, but that's not grip yet. So there's another transition it'll go to that will make it dry slick, I think is correct, and then it'll start rubbering up. And if I messed that up, Kyle, I'm sorry. That's best I can make out of what you typed.
Well, it definitely is changing.
That's what we're sure of.
That's what makes drivers like Kyle Larson so good, is they can anticipate the change. They know as the track changes where to go on the track. That's why I think you see a guy like Stuart Friesen right now has posted the fastest time. He's the most experienced of all the racers that from a dirt perspective, and you're riding on board with Friesen now. So he's definitely the one that's the most comfortable at this moment.
I want to do that left side sway bar.
And knows what he wants out of his truck to make it go fast under these conditions.
And he's sliding more and more up the hill, checking it out. I mean, that's another thing that Stuart Friesen can give you. He can search around and find
27 minutes left.
Find parts of the track that other guys may be not comfortable using and see if there's a future groove up there.
Under braking, bottomed out, front nose a little bit there. That spring race on the right rear was not the right way to go.
Was talking to Trip Bruce earlier today. Of course, runs the program for the 52 of Friesen and the 62 of his wife, Jessica. Of course, Todd Bodine drives that 62 truck during his farewell tour, so to speak, this season as well. But really, really optimistic about their performance tomorrow. They feel like they've got their truck dirt program in a lot better place this year. Under 30 minutes left in this first practice. Back at Bristol on dirt. Harrison Burton just took a little spin. We've got 4 guys. There you see Burton in that 17. We've got 4 drivers from the Cup Series that are running in the truck race, and 3 of those 4 have spun already here at this practice. Waiting for Austin Dillon to go around. He'll be next. There you see Harrison.
Nice little lazy spin there. That won't hurt the tires or his prep throughout this practice session. Joey Logano's had an eventful, you mentioned it, he was another one of the drivers that went for a spin, and Joey's got a good view of this one, riding on board with him.
Once you're spinning in front, middle of the track, go high. All right, we'll keep rolling here.
You know, I think it's interesting that Joey Logano won this race in the Cup Series a year ago and still felt like he could gain a knowledge and experience by running the Truck Series this year.
Yeah.
As you see the 51, Buddy Kofoid making his first Camping World Truck Series start. Of course, folks of the...
Now just work on your middle roll speed, especially in the middle of 3 and 4, overflowing that just a little bit. No pressure here.
Nash Nealon, the spotter for the 51. But open wheel fans certainly know the name Kofoid. Runs in the USAC National Midget Series. In fact, the USAC National Midget national champion a year ago. Runs a lot of wing sprint car stuff.
You know, I've been watching lap times lately, Vince, and they've all slowed down nearly a second. So if your favorite driver, say, is outside the top 20 and maybe even down where you see Tyler Ankrum, Jack Wood, Kaz Grala, I wouldn't put too much stock in that right now, because those fast laps were put up right when this practice session started, and the track is just slick right now, and those times are slowing down.
Matt Crafton, 5th on the speed chart. He is with Josh.
And Matt, you ran 11 laps. What did you learn during practice? 5th fastest time on the board, so that's pretty good so far.
Yeah, track's going to change a lot. I mean, it's already changed a lot in the last 10 minutes we've been out of the truck. And last year we ran out of tires. I mean, it really hurt the tires. So we have another 50 minutes after this, and I think that track's going to be what we're racing on tomorrow night. So didn't want to just burn up our tires so we could have something to adjust to. Truck felt pretty good rolling off the trailer. So the guys brought us something really good to race with, hopefully, and make the right adjustments and not mess it up.
And I know your daughter's been killing it on the track. Did she give you any advice before this race?
Oh, yeah, she became a little dirt racer. She loves it, without a doubt. So we went out there and did a little practice last week, and our first race this year is next weekend. So we're looking forward to that. She's having a lot of fun. She just always tells me to keep calm, because I can be a little bit fiery sometimes.
No, you fiery? Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I can't believe.
Good luck, man.
I didn't know that about Matt. Did
Oh.
you? I think he was a little fiery last year.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 4, Matt Crafton in the, of course, famous 88 neon yellow, and a little bump and run.
Listen to Crafton gas it up. He said, "I better get out of here." That led to some ill feelings between those two, and I don't know if they've ever gone away, Vince.
You never forget, do you? I mean, you may say it's okay now, but you don't ever forget.
Keith McGee does some spotting on the side and always down in the garage area working hard for these opportunities.
5 previous starts.
Got one inside. You heard the spotter letting Keith know.
That's Zane
Even
Smith.
up with you now. You got a slow one in the bottom there.
Keith comes to us from Alaska, Vince. My first engine builder in NASCAR, Mark Cronquist. He works for Gibbs and Toyota for many years. He came from Eagle River, Alaska, which is Keith McGee's hometown, too.
Former military guy, Keith
Yes,
McGee.
sir.
First practice of the weekend on the dirt at Bristol. Track constantly changing through the first 30 minutes of practice, as you would expect. Jack Wood in the 24. 50-minute practice session. The Cup guys will practice. The trucks will be back on for another 50-minute session, and then the Cup Series returns for their second and final practice of the day. So it's a full day of activity here on the dirt at Bristol on FS1. Keep it right here. Michael Waltrip and Josh Sims. I'm Vince Welch. Glad to have you with us today on this Good Friday.
It is a Good Friday, and I'm thankful to be in Bristol. This really educational, watching these guys on dirt, learning what Matt DiBenedetto is thinking as he attacks the corners. Grew up on dirt, on a dirt track out in Northern California. Spent some time with Matt this morning, and the smile, you know, as soon as you mention what it's going to be like, the first thing you hear from anybody is, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's going to change. Those are the first comments they make. And then a big smile comes on the face, thinking how much fun they're going to have learning about how this track's going to develop over the weekend.
The 98 is Christian Eckes.
And the times have slowed pretty dramatically now. I don't think if your driver, like I said earlier, isn't in that top 20, that doesn't mean he or she can't win the race.
No.
Because there's going to be a lot go on with the setups and the way these drivers hit the corners.
Well, this track has changed drastically since we came on the air at 3 o'clock Eastern. So in the 40 minutes since we've come on the air, I mean, it's night and day different, and that will continue to change throughout practice. You heard Matt Crafton say they really put a little more focus on the second practice of the day as compared to this first session as they look ahead toward tomorrow night's racing. Four heat races tomorrow that will set the feature starting order. Now here's a look at the track when the initial laps were run, and you'll see a big difference from what it looks like now.
Yeah, it just looks slicker, doesn't it? And you can see by the lap times it's definitely much different. Best time I've seen in the last 5 minutes has been about a 21 flat, which is
currently on the right-hand side of the screen, and the beginning of the session on the left-hand side. Quite a big difference indeed. We've got just a little over 13 minutes remaining in this session. Not surprised Stuart Friesen is fastest, or at least has put forth the fastest lap. And again, that's all kind of with a grain of salt, as we've just talked about how much the track has changed. But Friesen, crazy amount of dirt experience. Ben Rhodes was runner-up in this race a year ago, and Derek Kraus earned pole position last year at Knoxville and ran 5th. So can't be totally shocked that those guys are at the top of the speed chart. As you see, Austin Dillon, another one of our guys coming down from the Cup Series to run with the trucks tomorrow night. Former series champion, of course, winner at Eldora.
Doesn't he owe us a spin?
He does. He's the only Cup guy that's been out there that has not yet spun, so we'll anticipate that coming up. If you're just joining us, Chase Elliott, Harrison Burton, Joey Logano, along with Austin Dillon, the 4 Cup drivers that are running with the trucks this weekend, as Parker Kligerman out there in that Bounty 75, good-looking truck.
Saw Parker out for a little jog this morning around the streets of Bristol. That team has done a great job of giving him competitive trucks, and Parker delivers every time he gets behind the wheel.
Back downstairs to Josh.
Yeah, and for the 1 car of Haley Deegan, some trouble as she has to go to a backup truck. She has a fast time, 10th fastest on the board, but did have an issue during practice, so they have the backup truck out and ready to go. She's atop her pit box going over some things with their team right now.
Yeah, had some pretty significant wall contact and some damage to that truck on the right side, and unfortunate for them that they have to pull the backup out.
Yeah, she's a great dirt racer. Got that big win out on the West Coast a few years back. Hey, Norm, welcome back. You didn't like my Cheers reference? No.
No, I loved it. I was just letting everybody else get it.
Let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you guys have to ask, it wasn't that good.
Still no pressure.
He's making his first laps on the track, Vince.
Watching Benning get in those laps. Haley Deegan and her dad Brian discussing their situation. Back at Bristol, the final 10 minutes of practice. This first practice here for the Camping World Truck Series will be followed by a Cup practice, watching the 52 of Stuart Friesen, who has the fastest lap. And then the 51 is Buddy Kofoid, who is the USAC National Midget Champion and making his debut in the series, but really knows how to hustle a dirt car, whether it's wing or non-wing, and it's great to see him getting an opportunity this weekend.
They're really starting to move up the hill, Vince. We're seeing guys up like Kofoid there behind Stewart, trying to find a little bit of moisture, trying to get high on the track, and that's where the fastest times are being run right now. So, and this is a point I made earlier. If a guy's not up in the top 10, don't worry about it. This is Kofoid right behind Stuart Friesen. Friesen's the fastest. Kofoid's currently 33rd on overall speed in this session, but he's as fast as Stewart. It just depends on when you got out there, how you made your early laps, as to what your timing, your scoring result will be on the left.
And I think they'd be a little more aggressive if this was in the race. If that's, if you're thinking about Kofoid as Friesen is pulling off, about Kofoid making a move to pass Friesen, but in practice, you certainly don't want to put yourself in any kind of danger and then potentially end up having to go to a backup the way Haley Deegan has had to go. John Hunter Nemechek, a little different white mobile scheme this week.
It's, you might think at home, why practice if it's all going to change? Well, you got to be ready to adapt. You have to know what's out there and what your options are, and that's what these truckers are trying to understand.
Well, in the seat of your pants, this feels so much different than anything these guys run on in regards to a concrete or a pavement track. So you've got to get used to that feel before you can go fast. And certainly as the track changes, that feel changes as well. And that's why the dirt guys seemingly have a little bit of an advantage, because they're used to that transition in their seat, much less in the way that the vehicle handles. Although last year Martin Truex Jr. came out here with no dirt experience and put a whooping on all of them.
And what happened in the Cup race on Monday?
Yep, Joey Logano did the same. So take that for what it's worth. As you watch Grant Enfinger.
To run that line there through 3 and 4, you'd have to fix the rubber with the right rear on the bottom.
Spotter of the 23 of Enfinger. Enfinger's been really solid on the dirt. 5 dirt races in the Truck Series, and he's had 4 top 5s in those 5 starts.
Just knocking on the door.
Yep. Be a driver you'd have to consider to be one of the favorites tomorrow night.
You know, it's interesting to me, Vince, coming to Bristol all these years to race on the asphalt and then concrete, just how intense one lap is, you know, trying to hit your marks and be so aggressive with the throttle. And then this is a different world. You want to get hard on the gas, but there's nothing to grip up, and so you got to slip and slide, and it's a more, you know, like a thinking man's game out there, trying to squeeze the throttle down and move around, find some moisture, and try to get some more grip.
Coming down to the final minutes of this initial practice on the dirt at Bristol. We're racing on the dirt at Bristol.
That is awesome. I love watching these trucks sideways.
Oh,
man,
Garrett Kraus just could not get it stopped.
Kicking up some dust.
Big hit for Larson in the right side door. His first career Truck Series win. Martin Truex Jr. on the dirt at Bristol. And that was a dominating performance by Truex. He'll be climbing in the Cup car here shortly as soon as this truck practice is complete for the first Cup practice of the day. He's standing by with Josh Sims. Josh?
Yeah, that's right. Last year's truck winner here on the Bristol Dirt, Martin Truex Jr. Watching the truck practice, getting set for the Cup practice after this. What did you learn from watching the guys out there?
Just not a whole lot, honestly. I mean, just trying to watch where the groove is and see if the high side's any different this year than last year. Obviously, it was, you know, both the races were pretty bottom dominant last year. So just trying to watch and learn what the groove's doing a little bit. But once we get in there, it's a totally different ball game, especially with the new car. So we'll see.
One truck win on dirt was enough? You didn't want to get back out here and defend it, or what?
You know, I didn't really come here last year expecting to win. But I was totally happy just to get one truck win on my resume, so I've won in all 3 series. So didn't really put much thought into coming this year just because this car's so different.
There you go. Well, good luck this weekend. Appreciate your time.
Hey, when you've got that first win, why, you know, one and done works just fine, doesn't it, for Martin Truex Jr.? Well done. Tomorrow, qualifying races, there will be 4 of them that will set the field for the main show tomorrow night. And you see here's that lineup for heat race number 1.
Interesting names scattered from front to back, random draw. See Mike Marlar, you talked about that big win in Kyle Larson's race last night. He'll be coming from the back. That's going to be fun to watch. Yes. Some of the guys that are starting deep in the field.
Race number 3 of 4 tomorrow. There's Enfinger. Haley Deegan, if you're just joining us, has had to go to a backup truck after some contact. Joey Logano in that one as well.
And I don't know who drew for Jessica and Stuart Friesen, but I'd have a talk with them.
Yeah. How about that?
They got the worst 2 spots.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Of course, we still have one more practice yet today for the trucks and a couple of Cup practices as well. And Cup practice follows us here momentarily, so hang with us here on FS1 as you watch Stuart Friesen. Fastest lap early in practice he put up on the board at a 19:36.
And last time by, Vince, he was 21:50.
Yeah, so that's how the track has changed.
Couple seconds there. Joey Logano swings by on the outside.
Logano in the 54. Final 20 seconds of this practice, and Logano and Friesen both bringing it in. Well, Mike, what's your takeaway from what we've seen in this first 50-minute session?
Just the same as Martin Truex said, we're going to learn every lap of the way, and I'm really looking forward to watching these Cup guys get out on the track and see where their groove is, see how much they take advantage of the top side, because late in this session, even though it was a couple of seconds off the fastest in the early part of the session, the fast times were all being made up high on the dirt, right past where you can see the black rubber that is being semi-laid down. I'm not supposed to say it's laying rubber down because it's not yet. I guess they're just spinning tires, and that's why you see that. But the groove, the fast part is up higher in the corner. That's what the track was looking for. We'll see if that continues in this session.
Well, I guess we've had some folks that have asked, is that the concrete that you see from the original track surface? That is not. No. That's just the dirt that is so packed down, and then some rubber gets on top of it, creates that look of black to it. So
there's about another 2 or 3 feet of dirt under
yes.
that.
They're not going to get to the concrete, that's for sure. Here's the top 10 from today's practice, and again, kind of take these times with a grain of salt because the track certainly changed a ton throughout the course of practice, but gives you an idea where your favorite driver may have ended up.
And I'll just give you a little hint. Colby Howard was running some really good lap times late in this session. The kid from South Carolina, he's 20th there, but keep that name in mind tomorrow.
Again, some of the the Cup guys, Austin Dillon, Harrison Burton, you saw on that list as well. And even though Buddy Kofoid was 33rd on the quote-unquote speed chart, he was much better than that, we can assure you. Good stuff, and remember, stay tuned. Cup practice, the first practice of the weekend for the Cup Stars is coming up next, and we have another truck practice at 5:30 Eastern, followed by the final Cup practice at 6:30 Eastern. So a full day yet to come here on FS1 on the dirt at Bristol. Great to have you with us on this Good Friday. Thanks to Josh Sims for all the great work downstairs. Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. We're going to hit this commercial break and then come back with Cup practice at Bristol Motor Speedway. Stay tuned.